Taurus, this is your weekly tarot card reading from Born Without Boundaries. And you guys have been going through it for a while now, but the sun just shifted into your 12th house. And yes, the sun just shifted into your 12th house. And ultimately what that's going to do is illuminate a lot of personality aspects of who you are that you maybe like that you hadn't noticed before. In other words, there's going to be a lot of shit that comes up regarding aspects to your character that will surprise you. And the fact that in your second house, which is Gemini, is now Lilith, there's this aspect of consciousness or being more conscientious or feeling more shame inside of yourself with how you go about doing things, how you interact with people, or feeling like you've been pulled to do things that you are embarrassed by or feel shameful of. But here's the twist, because there's a big twist. You are changing. Uranus is in your first house, and so is the North Node. You are shifting your conscientiousness itself. You are shifting your standards themselves. You are shifting the merits by which you set the standards. So you always will constantly want to keep your standards high. But it's like, but what are you setting those standards on? It's the standards themselves that are shifting. So yes, Taurus, this is your weekly tarot card reading from Born Without Boundaries Tarot. My name is Michelle. I'm an astrologer and tarot card reader, and I use astrology, tarot cards, and oracle cards to divine weekly messages to provide insights for you every single week so that you know how to best use the energy around you. So go ahead and smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so that you know when your content comes out. I do all 12 zodiac signs each week, and I do extended readings and have another channel too. We'll get into that later on in the video. Right now, let's get back to the astrology. So ultimately, what's happening is a shift in the merits themselves. It's a shift in how you set your standards. And this thing that's happening in your second house, which is basically how you go about getting what you want, which means that you are a great communicator when it comes to making sure that you build your business or build your money. You're an exceptional communicator because your second house is naturally in Gemini, which is exceptional communications. You like to learn new things. You're a very curious person, and you're a very Mercurius person. Look for those t-shirts, they're coming out. Mercurius person when it comes to being inventive and being creative and being innovative when it comes to how you build yourself out. So you're very good at business. You're very good at taking responsibility and getting things done. But Lilith is present in that second house now. So are you ashamed of how you've behaved? Are you ashamed of how you behaved in the past? And where is the shame coming? Remember, shame doesn't come from the outside. Shame comes from the inside. Shame happens when we don't live up to our own standards. The thing is now, your standards are shifting. So there may be a more relevant relationship with what you feel ashamed about, or like you didn't used to, but now you do, or this used to make you feel embarrassed or ashamed, but now it doesn't anymore. You'll start to see those things shifting, and ultimately you got no choice. You just got to let that shit happen. I mean, how else are you going to do it? If you look at the chart, there's so much jam-packed between your 12th house and your 9th house, which means everything is kind of happening for you behind the scenes. I look at things from like your first house through your 6th house as things that you kind of are very aware of and have experienced or have a good grasp on or do intentionally. And stuff that happens after that or behind you, I look at it like behind you. Your 12th house is behind you. Your 11th house is behind you, especially that 12th house zone. Your 10th house is behind you, though you guys have real good communication with that because you're trying to it. So ultimately, there's a lot of like kind of things that are happening behind the scenes for you, things that are happening to you and coming through you instead of you completely and totally understanding why. So you have to have faith and just allow and be kind of an observer about what's going on and these shifts that are happening, how can I understand them better? You'll never understand them by fighting them. You can only understand them by watching them, talking with them, interacting with them, and saying, why do I have these new curiosities? Because you do. Let yourself explore. This is definitely a time for exploration, but traditional systems are shifting. And ultimately, that means you are shifting. And the things that brought you a sense of you didn't feel so good about yourself, this is where you first look to build those changes out. You are starting to find yourself attracted to or willing to do things that you were never wanting to do before, because you are changing, and so is your sort of measurement of merit. So let's get into the cards. Now, is this happening in every aspect of your life? No, it's primarily, these shifts are primarily happening in your 12th through your 9th house. So your 9th house is your philosophy, your relationship with God, as well as any long distance relationships or travel that you have, or understanding new cultures. Your 10th house is your career and what you're building out into the world. Like what you want to build and what you want to be known as in the world. And then, of course, your 11th house is people that you make friends with. Are you shifting? Are you making friends with different people? Are you finding yourself a part of different communities, or even that you have to be? That's your 11th house. And of course, your 12th house is shit's going to pop up that's going to surprise the shit out of you, especially what you're capable of. So let's get into the reading. Ooh, Taurus, 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 Taurus. And so we have Rabbit. Now is a lucky time. Dude, come on. This is what you start out with? Okay, lots of innovation, lots of wonderful energy. The sun is shining really brightly, especially since the sun is shining brightly in that 12th house, illuminating things that before maybe had disappointed you in yourself because Chiron's there, but now you're learning to use them. You're going to be very surprised with yourself. Things coming out, let it shine, showing the world your talents, your skills, your confidence level, things that have been kept in the dark. It's almost like at this point, people can see your shit. People can see your nastiness and ultimately find a way to love you anyway, make excuses for you. Not that you want that, but like this is the best time right now. The cards are saying for shit about you to come out or be exposed. It's also a really great time for you to step out and actually say to the world, like, own it, be the one to show the world like everything that you are. If you want to debut something, this is a great week to debut it. If you want to say something, you have thoughts on something, this is a great way to share them, to bring them into the tangible world. Now is a very prosperous time for you. Things will kind of work in sync for you and work out even without you understanding or knowing why they've decided to work out. Who gives a shit? Just take the ride along with that shit, Taurus. Now, this is also, Rabbit Spirit is fertility card. So you could be making a birth announcement, or this could be a great time for you to, get to it, watching that clock, taking those temperatures. If you want the babies to be made, this is a really great time to talk about that stuff and go about it. This doesn't have to be you. I'm just saying this is a fertile time for you. You can also take that as a metaphor. This is a fertile time. This is a time to come out and plant some seeds and to actually make some moves. We have watch and wait. It's gonna reverse the baby. This is Piscean energy. No, you're not watching and waiting anymore. You're done. You don't have to, and you know where you want to go. This is not about seeing if I'm safe, or I just don't feel that in you. So if you feel intrepidatious right now, if you feel like taking risks or stepping outside of your comfort zone more often, hello, the fucking North knows node is sitting in your house, is sitting in your first house. You're going to be taking chances. Uranus and the North Node are sitting in your fucking first house. You're going to want to be taking chances, especially for the next year and a half. You're going to want to be shifting and trying new things. And this may be impractical for you, but it's not. It's just sort of where you're at. You also don't have to wait. The cards are saying, don't fucking wait, Taurus. This is not a time to sit on something that you've known. It's been sitting there for a while. This is Scorpionic energy. This is, bam, comfort zone energy. It's your 7th house. It's basically saying to you, let out your dark side, dude. Let out your seedy side. Let out your erotic side. Let out your sensual side, which also plays into fertility. I'm just going to say, watch and wait. Don't sit on this anymore. Also, it's saying if you're very attracted to somebody, you're like, don't wait on it. Don't sit on it. You're probably not going to be able to. This could be a very, very sexual time for you. Oh, fucking love it, man. Save a horse, ride a Taurus. Anyway, Scarab Beetle spirit, magic works through you. Bam. This is Cancerian energy. Cancerian energy deals, what does this mean? Let's just say magic works through you. And I said that, right? I said that sort of when I was going over the astrology. So things are working through you now. So you kind of have to be a conduit. I know you like to be in control. You like to know where everything's coming from. You're going to be surprised by your ability to not need to know as much. Right? Allowing yourself to be the conduit for the magic and trusting it as opposed to micromanaging it. Not that you're usually a micromanager, but you like to know where things are coming from. You like the solid. You're much more spiritual now, is what I'm saying. There's a connection to a sense of spirit and this transcendence. As well as just letting things flow. Magic works through you. Scarab Beetle is actually the Egyptians didn't use a crab for the Cancerian constellation. It was a beetle. That's what it was. And the scarab beetle, is they marked on a lot of their tombs because the scarab beetle was walked between the worlds. And Cancerian energy is walking between two extremes, right? Walking between the earth, the water, and the earth. That's where crabs live. They're tidal creatures. They like that in-between space. So ultimately, this is you getting comfortable with a place that you probably were never comfortable before, which is the in-between. This is also you growing more intuitive. It's listening to your intuition more than you would normally maybe listen to it, and actually having more faith or a closer relationship to faith than you normally would. Set healthy boundaries has come out here too. Ultimately, you're learning. I feel like this is a shift in your boundaries, right? To compensate for the new things that you want to open up about, the new things that you want to share and show. You got to take down walls. You got to open fucking windows, right? You got to open gates, or maybe take them out completely. Also, you're shifting them to other extremes. Maybe other things don't feel comfortable for you right now. Okay, make the shifts. Don't question yourself. Trust yourself, I think, is at the heart of everything that I'm going to tell you right now, is trust yourself. Your boundaries are shifting. Ultimately, this is 3. I just saw 3rd house. That's about communications. What is your 3rd house? Your 3rd house is Cancer, right? Yeah, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Ooh, who you're talking to may be shifting. The people that you're interested in may be shifting. And the way that you speak to people or the way that you go about communications may be shifting. You could be getting new ideas, implementing new communication strategies at work. Ultimately, this is the time to seek out maybe a different platform for your communications as well. Ooh, that's a good foundation, dude, because there's a lot of mystery in there. Let's keep going. Taurus. We have foundation and achievements. We've been talking about a lot. So being very happy with yourself, loving your family. This could also be Cancerian energy, communicating with family or shifts in your family status or people in your family going through major shifts right now. You might get some announcements this week about shifts happening to your family. Not bad shifts. This card is upright. So it's also, you might be traveling. Your whole family might be fucking traveling. They might be coming to see you. You might be going to see them. This is definitely a sense of maybe your family is shifting where they are, or shifting their actual physical location, or it says positive, though. It's positive moving forward, so it's going to bring happiness, it's going to bring joy. And then we have triumph. A whole shit ton of cards came out for your future, so let's just fucking get into them. Triumph, bam. Now, triumph means that there was shit you had to go through. Okay, and I honestly think that this is what the whole family thing is. The family may be communicating to you a sense of, holy shit, I'm so proud of you. I never thought you'd pull that crap off. Or whoever you consider your family. Solitude, so taking some time for yourself. Also doing things that only concern you. Reading silently, take some time for yourself. And you might surprise yourself, because when you come about your biggest victories, you might, instead of wanting to party out loud and share it, you might first be drawn inward. And I also think this is triumph over the shit that has been changing and shifting inside of you. And then we have the waiting game. I don't know what this is about. We'll get into it. We have movement, choices, and decisions. Holy shit. Yes, you do. And that's the energy of 2. Movement, choices, and decisions right after the waiting game. So maybe you're waiting for news from somebody else. You want to see what they're going to do. You want to see what kind of like, yeah, you want to see what they're going to do. Intuition, I think you already know what they're going to do. You're trusting your intuition a lot more. And then choose wisely. We have the energy of 5 here, which is you have a lot of choices. That's what the lucky thing is about, right? You have a lot of choices. And basically Spirit is saying to you in this energy, use your intuition to choose. Don't try to overanalyze this. It won't make sense. But your intuition will tell you right away which choice you're going to make. And you're also making choices more intuitively now. And then we have firm foundation. Bam! This is something that you're passionate about. It's Aries energy. This is the sign of fire, alchemical sign of fire. Knowing who the fuck you are. Right? And ultimately, your firm foundation is you. You are the mountain. So you don't, like, as all of these other things shift, you start to get stronger in yourself, realizing that, you know what, myself is the only thing that I can actually control. And as things start to shift and impact you and affect you and surprise you, you are becoming more self-reliant and self-sufficient. Then we have partnerships and alliances and spiritual strength. Well, first of all, as you know you better, you start to create relationships with friends that are more compatible for you. I talked about this with Aries too. So this is about linking up or connecting with people that maybe have struggled in the same way as you. People who don't back down or, cower at the difficulties that you've suffered because they've suffered them too. Finding connection with people in a way that you never found it before. And that could be through things that aren't so pretty or aren't so glamorous, but ultimately there are things that actually make you feel stronger now. And the bonds are stronger, the connections are stronger. Spiritual strength, so it's spiritual connections. Doesn't have to mean that you're getting to a fucking spiritual group or becoming a holy roller. That's not what it is. It means, it could be like firming up your faith or finding people who have a common faith as you, but it's also, and it doesn't necessarily just have to be, it could be like, the same merits, the same ethics, including business, right? You want people who are not just good at what they do now. You want people who have a spiritual and ethical foundation. That's extremely important to you. Your firm foundation is requiring it. There also seems to be a connection or a connectivity with either a group of people, which would be friends, or a specific person that you just feel really, really connected to. And so ultimately, I don't know, ultimately you may be trying to see how this is shifting, how this is working out, allowing yourself to go through changes. Trust your intuition now in this energy. Trust your instincts. Is this forever? Nah, bitch. This is a week ahead, right? This is the next 7 motherfucking days, however many hours that adds up to. But in this energy, Taurus, you're really going to want to make those decisions with your intuition. And your intuition will guide you. The waiting game, you may be surprised You may have to make shifts in terms of what information comes into you if you've been waiting for something. You may be surprised about your reactions to them, especially if you've waited for a long time. You might suddenly, like, say you haven't seen somebody in a long time, right? And all of a sudden they come to visit you. You may be surprised at how you feel about that. You know, you may normally have looked forward to it, but now you may be like, well, fuck, I kind of wish they weren't coming because I like my crew here. You know, and don't, like, that is going to immediately, it's going to cause you, oh, shame, be ashamed of yourself. But ultimately, it's like, why? Why? The shame has to do with the shift. You're changing. And if you allow yourself to change, then the shame will dissipate. We have poised, conflict, and chaos. That's really interesting, because the two of them don't fit, right? But what it means is that you're ready for anything. Because once you have a firm foundation inside of you, then you are absolutely certain to know that you can go into any situation and handle it. I don't think you've ever really felt this strong in yourself. And it's funny because your world's never been more chaotic. But ultimately, it really does, ironically, when shit shifts around you, it's interesting how you start to understand what's inside of you better. Let's go to tarot because there's a lot more to know. Those links are below. I'll see you guys there.